Good morning, folks. Another installment of the Red Book of Magic. We're in Spirit Magic, and we finally get to spells. Most of us are pretty much familiar with all these spells since it's been battle magic since day one, right? Okay. Befuddle, a basic attack spell. Overcome the target's power, confuses the victim, doesn't change their beliefs or their ideals or their perceptions, just muddies them up, right? So, victim of battle cannot attack but can defend themselves. They also can't sound the alarm and do those offensive types of things, right? Because they're confused. Okay. The melee round after the spell is cast. No, that's not true. The melee round after they are attacked, they do a defense, right? Whoever attacked them, they then assume is the enemy. Which makes sense. A little comment here about how if you're really crafty, you can have the befuddled person's team attack them, and so the befuddled person attacks their side. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but possible. Okay. Now, the befuddled person, the victim, can spend an entire melee round doing nothing else to attempt to shake off the befuddle. There's two ways to do this. One is to fail an intelligence times 5 roll, which means you need to roll higher than that number. So the smarter you are, the easier it is to mix up the piping, right? So that's why it's harder to shake it loose. Or you can succeed at a meditate skill. Good to go. You only do one of the two approaches each melee round. And if you're successful with with either, the spell ends. The following melee round. Nope. The spell ends, and then the following melee round, the adventure can act normal. Okay. If your int times 5 is actually a special or critical success, remember you need to fail it, right? The befuddled character mistakes his friends for his enemies and vice versa. I don't know. I would even think that if you did a critical, that would act as some kind of bonus, like fanaticism. But that's just okay. Binding enchantment, just like the rune spell binding enchantment, right? Creates a magical item, can hold a spirit or otherworld creature. Vessel's enchanted. You have to sacrifice 1 point of power, permanent power, per type of characteristic. Now, type I would take type out. I'd say per characteristic, right? Because technically, intelligence, power, and charisma are all intelligence type characteristics, or non-physical. Or non-physical type characteristics, whereas strength, dex, size are all physical characteristics. So it's a type. Yeah, scratch that. Okay. Per characteristic possessed by the creature. And then, of course, anyone who's holding the item and casts Spirit Binding can then trap that spirit in the enchantment. You have to see the default to Matrix because of the spell Matrix thing, but it's an enchantment. Okay. Blade Sharp. Standard attack thing, right? Cutting, stabbing, or hacking weapons increases your chance to hit by 5% and increases your damage, adds +1 to damage. Instead of adding -1. Or just adding 1, maybe? I don't know. Okay. Now, okay. Incompatible with Fireblade. I might argue this based in my Glorantha. But anyway, Dull Blade, right? If someone casts Dull Blade on your sharp bladed weapon, right, the chance to hit doesn't change, which is kind of confusing. Why not? But the damage does go down. Why? You could almost pull a counter magic kind of balance to this. If you cast a Dull Blade 2 on a Blade Sharp 2, they cancel each other. If you throw a Dull Blade, was it 4? What do you need? 2 or more, yeah, 4 on the Blade Sharp cancels and the Dull Blade takes. How's that for a game mechanic? Okay. The bonus magical damage from the Blade Sharp, that Blade Sharp 2 plus 2 damage, right? That affects creatures normally invulnerable to non-magic weapons, such as the Tamori Wolf brothers, right? Okay, Bludgeon. Just like Blade Sharp, only works on smashing and crushing weapons. Works on any smashing or crushing weapon. Yeah, okay. +5 to hit, +1 damage. Oh, this adds 1 damage. Incompatible with Fireblade again. Why? You can't even cast Fireblade on a smashing or crushing weapon because they only apply to edged weapons or spears. Why even stick that in there? I'm going to cast Fireblade on my hammer. Fire hammer. Okay. And again, this bonus damage is magical, so if you attack a Tomori Wolf Brother or anybody who's immune to normal weapons, that +2 does damage. Okay. C spells. C spells. Spell increases the comprehension. Sorry, and I have to admit I did not go through here and find which ones are new or not. Maybe I should. I'll try doing that next time. Okay, comprehension because I think this is a new one, but I'm not sure. This spell increases the target's mental agility. Intelligence stays the same, but for each point you add 5% to your knowledge skills. All knowledge skills except any that are 0. If it's 0 is 0, you don't know it. But if you do know a little bit, it increases your agility, your skill. Okay. Conceal item. Conceal a single item of 2 or smaller encumbrance points. I think it's kind of implied when you say 2. So, example, you have a satchel or backpack. Cast conceal on it, throw it on, nobody sees it. Now, if you do it on a weapon, it's not seen, it's concealed until you actually attack with it, right? Or parry. If you attack or parry, if you actually use it, then they can see it, right? Because it's not invisibility, it's just misdirection. Okay, control entity, right? Multiple things in a parentheses. So it's a different spell for every entity. Okay, mini variants. Now they put Discorporate Spirits as one type of entity here. I don't think I would do that. I would break it down by the bestiary on. We have this category of spells, or spirits, this category of spirits, this category of spirits, etc., etc., etc. Nymphs, because we go specific types of elementals. Why? An elemental is an elemental. It doesn't matter if it's darkness or earth. If a disembodied spirit is a disembodied spirit, it doesn't matter if it's a wraith or a ghost. Yeah. There's some. I would get very specific with this myself. Okay. As well as mundane animals. It's not just animals, right? Or mammals or birds. It's specific. Hawks, dogs, mammoths, shadow cats. Again, bestiary, one category. Okay. Subjects the entity to the caster's will. To use a control spell, the caster must first reduce the magic points of the target to 0 in spirit combat. Love that. And that applies to a lot of other stuff I've been thinking about otherwise on doing things, right? So the next okay, you reach into 0 magic points. Next melee round, you cast a control spell. It cannot resist. It must obey all the commands issued by the caster. The compulsion to obey ends when the spell ends, right? It doesn't continue on. So if you kill that guy after 2 minutes, that's I forgot how many melee rounds. After that, I think it's 10, isn't it? 10 melee rounds. 10 melee rounds. He's still not dead. Spell ends. He's no longer compulsed. He leaves, even if it's still alive. Okay. Okay. You are in fact in some kind of special telepathic communication with the controlled entity, right? But it has a line of sight. You need to be able to see them. And it's not words. You have to envision in your head an image. And that image is supposed to convey what you want the spirit to do, or the entity to do. And if you are commanding an entity, it takes the whole melee round, which means you can't do anything else. Which I would assume means that if you get hit, you need to make a concentration roll. But that's not listed here. Okay, next spell. Cool. I'm pretty sure this is a new one too. Okay. Must be cast on a point. On a point, a thing, right? Like the light spell, same idea, right? A rock, in front of your shield, spear tip, something, right? But anyway, the point then radiates coolness. Actually, it sucks in heat, but I'm a physicist. Sorry. Okay. Within the radius of 3 meters. For each point, the temperature decreases by 5 degrees Celsius from that of the surrounding air. Now, you can never reduce the temperature in this radius, right, to or below freezing. You can get almost there. Okay. Next spell, coordination, another standard spell, right? Increase the dexterity by 3. This. I circled this for a reason. I don't remember now what it is. But anyway, your dex goes up by 3. Because it goes up by 3, all those things that have those bonus area things, agility, accelerate, all these things, right? Strike rank, agility, manipulation, stealth, all those skills, they've got those blocks of categories, right? 1 to 4 is this. 5 to 8 is that. Okay, well, the +3 puts you in the next category. And so you get by default. You don't have to recalculate everything. You know that +3, your dex goes up by 3. So if you're rolling anything against your dex, you get that, plus 15%, right? But your strike rank goes down by 1, and all of your agility, manipulation, and stealth skills increase by 5%. And it's kind of interesting to say manipulation, including weapons. Weapons, by definition, are manipulation skills. Why do we need to reiterate that? Okay. Counter magic. This defensive spell protects the target against every other incoming spell. So it doesn't protect against the counter magic spell. Duh. Okay. On with that. Okay. So it protects against every incoming spell. It's up every spell coming in, including protection, including heal, and including detect spells, right? Okay, so some good and bad with that. It does not interfere with previously cast spells. So if you've got Blade Sharp 2 on your sword and then cast Counter Magic, Blade Sharp 2 stays. Okay. Doesn't work against spirits because spirits are not, magic. They're spirits. Okay. But it says it may work against the spells that the spirits cast. Why may? What's different what is different about the spells that spirits cast as opposed to the spells we cast? And then it gets back into the whole, what is spirit magic? We use spirits to cast our spirit magic, right? Where'd it go? There was a thing in here about what spirit magic really is, right? Oh shoot, I should have checked that. There's this thing which ties into the whole lowering sorcerers' free intelligence by a number of magic points of spirit magic they know, because the spirits are distracting them. Charisma is controlling those spirits. Your charisma's high enough, you tell them to sit down and do their business. Yeah. We may at some point in the future get to that, but don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, here's that cool thing about counter magic and spells coming in, right? If the incoming spell is two or more points weaker than the counter magic, you got counter magic 4, some 2-point spell like Befuddle comes in, right? Doesn't work at all. Stays up, spell goes down. Okay. If it's equal to or 1 point above or 1 point below, so 4, and then we're talking about 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5, then they both go down. If the attacking spell, how do I do 6? 6 against 4, 6 against 4. Maybe we should do is 2. Counter magic 2, and you're doing 4. There we go. That'll work. 2 counter magic, 4 attack, then the counter magic goes down, and the 4 effects. That's kind of beastie. Okay. Again, rune magic is twice as effective. So 1 point of rune magic is equal to 2 points of spirit magic. And this spell is incompatible with Protection, Spirit Shimmer, and Spirit Screen. We have to look and see if this incompatibility applies with all these other spells as well, with all these other spells. Are they all mutually incompatible? Is that because you got some kind of force field up and you can only have one force field up at a time? I don't know. Happy gaming.